Hi guys and girls, okay, let's do something new, okay. We have been bombarded with the project for a long time, okay, so we start something new today. So what are we going to do is start, okay. I'm going to teach you what we call paper art, okay. This is one of the methods. It is called accordion fold, okay. So how does accordions mean? That means how you fold the paper, okay. So for the first step is you have to have a piece of drawing paper that I asked you to prepare already, and then we have to fold it according to this. So let's zoom in and see how the folding works. You have to measure, okay? So the first fold here is 4 cm. So basically you can mark a line here after you're measuring from the ruler 4 cm, and then you mark it here. So you got the line, then you can fold it like that and make sure it's all aligned, and then you just pitch it like that. So this is the first section, okay? And in this case, you'll be seeing that actually this is the first section. So we have this line and we have to double this. That means I have to fold it another time. So now after you having two folds, one and the other one here, this part is like the mountain top and this part is the valley, if it in biology term. Then what would it be? If you look at the final word itself, this part is where actually this is the two parts, okay? So that means in the first sections you're going to draw something in here in the valley part. So if we mark this part is the white, the area where we mark, we don't draw anything, we make a cross, and the area we're going to draw something, we take a tick. So in my case, I draw my cat in here and also the gate, so I can roughly mark the area where I want the stuff to go in. Understand? Okay, once we folded it, you will see that actually we won't be able to see what we drawn. So that's why after you drawing this, then you'll be cut along. If this is a cutter, you're going to cut along the shape, then you flip this part up, okay? Understand what I'm talking about? So you're going to cut along this, you flip it about, and I will go over that later on. And we were going to do the rest of it, okay? But if you're noticing, this part is the height is different. So this part here, we got 4 cm, remember that? But the second mountain, if this is one mountain, okay, and this is second mountain, the second mountain will be much harder than the first one. Why? Because as we folding up, later on when we display, you will see they are in level 1, level 2, level 3, so that we can see. Understand? So it needs to have a differences. So for me, this part is about, in my case, this part is about 5.5 cm for the second mountain. So that means I'm going to repeat that for this because this is the other set of mountain. So here is again 5.5 cm for the second set of the mountain. So now we have two mountains done, right? 1 and 2. The first mountain is 4 cm height. The second mountain is 5.5 cm height. And then at the last, we got the backdrop, okay? Which is, if you want to know my measurements here, I'm going to measure it for you. So in my case, my backdrop is about 9.2 cm, okay? Then you will have a very nice foundation to work with. After you have the foundation to work with, that means we will have 3 layers, okay, of images going to appear. Why? Because the one layer will be here, and the second layer will be up here, and the third will be the background, okay? So having that in your mind, you should already use your maybe Pinterest website to research some images you want to work with. Usually, I will start with some sort of story, okay? So my story is kind of like the story of the cat, okay? Cat is always kind of like the mystery owner. So this cat is looked into, so this cat is running away from the hometown that it used to live. This is where he lived, and this is the church where it's like to go around. So this is the gate. So he looking back at it, and yet it is still his hometown. So I have her again, the front wheel close up. So to make a sense of perspective, make it more interesting. So this is my story, okay? So you have your story in your mind so that you find some references pictures from the Pinterest as some references. Understand? Okay, so you have that in your mind, so you have to know, okay, which one to go first? So if in this case is that, okay, the things closest to you seems a bit smaller, but actually if you put them together, these two mountains, they're actually the same height. But the last bit for the background, usually I will make it very huge so that you'll be able to see, okay, and have a sense of depth to it. So you have to determine which come big and small, but the size of it is triggered by the space that we have for the mountain. So in our case, if you have that in mind, remember, this is the only space that we can draw. That means we cannot touch. You see that we need to save at least here about 0.5 cm to it. Just like what I did here. So you got some space in here. Okay, so that it will attach a bit better. All right, so based on that, then you start to draft your work in here. Everything, every shape, no matter it's animals or building, they are start with some basic shapes, okay? So in my case, if I look at this, this is kind of like an egg for the head, right? And it was tilted like that, so it was tilted like that. I'm going to draw in this paper so you can see better. So if I'm going to draw this cat, so it's tilted, the cat, right, tilted, and it is like an egg shape for the head. And then she got the neck over here, it's like another angle like that, right? So we can draw ourselves some basic shapes, and then we have another big shapes over here. And the last, we got the tail, right? So we have the basic shapes here. Now we know that the eye was kind of like that, so we put the place where the eyes are, and then we start to shape around it. This is the face of the cat, and this is where the nose are, actually, and this is where the chin. So you try to get as much as detail as possible, and then you know this part is the ear. So everything was actually start from the basic shapes, and then you keep molding it, and then you know this part is the neck, right? So this part, we got the shadows parts here, and then we know the head was coming down like that, and the hat. And then it's got the kind of like that. So you are filling in, just like what I did, you are filling in the shape according to those geometric shapes that you have drawn. So after you have the basic shape, now it comes to your liner, okay? Noticing the texture of it, okay? Use your liner to mimicking the texture, okay? So it was nice that you can practice your different line, okay? Sometimes if we draw like trees like that, okay? Most students, you would draw the leaves like that one by one, right? One by one. It's okay, but it takes a lot of time. But it's like the brushes here. How are we going to do the brushes? So you can just basically look at the shape. So you can start doodling in terms of the shape, where the lines go in and where the lines will be kind of like a doodling thing like that. So you can have lots of different variations of line. And of course, what you have to do is that if you're noticing this part there's much darker, so that means then you have to keep doodling in that area for a little bit longer, so that you got the sense of depth to it. Understand? And later on, maybe this part you're gonna have the flower, the bloom, the roses. So you just add on the detail bit by bit. You understand what I'm talking about? Okay, so for our cat, it's got some fur. It's kind of like this kind of stroke, right? But it will have different direction. So noticing maybe from the neck of it. So the directions of it is actually coming this way. So we will do accordingly to the directions of it. So sometimes you can have some outline, just like what I did. Just outline some of the most crucial parts, and later on, then I would start the detail one by one by filling in. Although texture, some of the line can be smaller, some of those can be thicker, etc. So you just take times for you to look at it where you want. Usually, I will go on the line on the edges a little bit, and then I will start inside to do the modeling. Okay, depending on the figure. Okay, so bit by bit, you're going to fill it in to draw the animals that you are supposed to draw, or maybe draw the building that you are supposed to work on it. And of course, you can have variations of the directions of it depending on your figure and also the line.